G'day guys and welcome to the Sydney Property Muppets podcast. My name is Kurt Lawther and forever as always is...
Chris Clark, buyer's agent. You love that. As always, forever. I love it. No, it's a great way to start. Gives me a lot of energy.
Oh, thank you. So Chris, last week you did a bit of a grilling on me.
Here we go.
Bit of a grilling as I was the selling agent, and instead of us doing the normal sort of just picking some points, you actually interviewed me and I gave my answers. We did try and keep it a little bit general in nature as well, in terms of what a good agent does or what a bad agent may look like or say or do or how they interact.
I think what was interesting is we definitely gave us some points so we could really do just one of those parts of it as a full episode. Really showed us there's a lot more to this and everything. So we've tried to condense this one. I'm already wafting here, but today you're going to be a buyer looking to engage a buyer's agent.
Yes, I still want to say my question. How does it feel, the shoe being on the other foot?
I'm comfortable with the shoe on the other foot and the hand on the other toe.
Yeah, so I've been reached out to you to set up a meeting.
Great.
For a cafe or home, wherever it is, and I've sold my house and looking at buying.
Beautiful.
I think that's the scene.
Yeah, that's very good. Well, good to see you. Good to meet with you today, Kurt.
Hello, Chris, is it?
Chris, yes.
Hello, Chris.
Buyer's agent.
Lovely to meet you.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, where do we start? I'm used to a real estate agent or selling agent, but
I love this, Kurt. You meant to come with pre-organised questions and you haven't done so. So maybe I'll give it 30 seconds. I know some of our listeners will know what a buyer's agent is, but those first-time listeners or new to the world of buyers, maybe I'll give a 30-second snippet of what a buyer's agent does. So effectively what we do is we work with our clients to understand what their brief is, and we go to market, we look at things that are on market, so realestate.com and so forth, off market. We do some assessments, we send those through to clients, they say they like them, we then go and assess, inspect. If they continue to like them, we go through and help them to negotiate, exchange contracts, get the elbows out, beat off other buyers, and hopefully with the aim to secure the property. If any of those steps don't work, we go back and find some new properties for them to look at and explore.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, I think that's very.
Tried the best one. That was 30 seconds.
Oh no, I think you did well. A question: How are you going to be any different from me looking and trying to find property than you doing it? Because isn't all the properties on real estate and Domain and...
So when I'm selling a house, I just put on realestate.com and Domain. How is that any different to a real estate agent doing it for me? We know there is, and I'm just being facetious, there's so much to it. But it's a really good point. I say to my clients, would you ever sell a property in Australia without a real estate agent? And 99.99 couldn't even fathom the thought of it. And why? Because you've got an expert on your side, you've got someone who knows that market, can help you hold your hand with comparables, be a stopgate between the buyers and yourself. So if you open the front door, knows the dress of the property. There's so much to it. It's the same as when you engage in buyers. And I see in the future, the majority of properties being purchased with a buyer's agent for the same reason. You want someone on your side who's got the expertise, who does this day in, day out. I bought multiple properties in a week, let alone a year, can help hold your hand. And also, I'm able to work with agents on buying not just one property for you. So it might be one property you buy every 7 years, right? But because I'm buying so many properties over and over again, dealing with the same agents, I am leaning on that relationship to try and get the inside word. Not get it for, let's say, cheap, but try and get a little bit under the market value and use my inside sort of track knowledge to skewer that for a price point that my client's happy and hopefully the real estate agent, their vendor's happy as well.
Okay. I'm going to also slightly break character here as well. From a real estate agent's perspective, is when we're dealing with buyers, some are good negotiators.
Buyers? Yep.
Yeah, when we're dealing with buyers, some are really good negotiators and tough.
Yep.
However, we also meet a lot that...
What are you going to say here? What are you going to say?
We can see through the cracks. For example, I actually had it a few weeks ago. Someone said, Kurt, I'm putting in an offer here. I've also put an offer on another property and it was below where any expectation.
Yep.
And for me, I just know they're trying to grab a bargain. So
tells you a lot about them. Look, when I talk to a potential client, even when I've got clients on board, quite often I ask them, they've already gone through some properties. Usually they've already done some looking. And I say to them, have you happened to tell the agent your budget? And they look at me and realise right then that they've stuffed up. right? Quite often they've walked in the property that's, whatever it's guiding for, let's say it's guiding for 2 million, and they say to the agent, no, my top budget's 1.8. Not realising that agent's going to recall that and actually put that into the agency database. So when you're buying that next property, it's guiding price of 1.6, they'll know your max budget is 1.8, so they can utilise that against you. Just a nice little fun tip. Yeah, it's true, right? That happens.
It won't, from an ethical agent, I generally try and be like, sweet, I'm going to use this to be like, help you try and find it.
Of course.
But when it then comes to negotiations, then I'll be trying to...
It's information you can use.
Back in character. So how are you also, so I guess fees, Chris, what do you charge? I've heard there's some percentages, but also some set fees, some bonuses sometimes. Like, how do you operate?
Look, I won't go through the actual ins and outs of it all because every client is different. But typically, it's somewhere between sort of 1% up to 2.5% of the purchase price. There is a upfront engagement fee, and the reason we have that is you might be looking to buy, and after you've been looking for 3 weeks or 6 months, someone loses a job or something happens, and you decide not to buy. That engagement fee is enough that keeps my petrol running and keeps me working. But obviously, I'm actually incentivised in terms of actually the success fee when we purchase, which is, like I said, might be 1% to 2.5%. For myself as an agent, I prefer to have that as a fixed price. So we work with the clients at the beginning, understand the complexities. Is it relatively easy? Okay, they're looking in this suburb, looking for an apartment. In that suburb is 3,000 apartments. So there's every single month there's 30 being sold. That's relatively easy and straightforward. Versus looking in this suburb, they want a semi. Their budget's a bit low than expected. They might be looking in 7 suburbs. There is some extra complexity. Well, we know that's going to take a bit longer for us to field and understand, and a bit more manpower for us to be able to dedicate to find that successful property for them.
Okay.
But prefer to have a fixed price where we can, so that the buyers aren't thinking, the more I spend, Chris's fees are going. With a real estate agent, it makes sense to have a fee percentage.
Incentivises them.
Yeah, so the more you sell it for, the more you pay. You're actually paying that money out of the money you've got. So you purchase probably for $1 million, agent sells it for 2. You're effectively paying the agent out of that $1 million profit, some part of that.
Yeah.
With a buyer's agent, you buy it for $1 million, you've then got to find other money to pay the buyer's agent. So I get that. So much better have that fixed price. So if it's not $1 million at 1.1, well, you still know exactly what you're paying. Your cost isn't going up. Now that's my own agency. A lot of other agents still do work on a percentage. Well, I'm not against that. Sometimes it keeps the buyers honest, helps them keep in check so they don't overspend.
Okay, and does that come out at settlement like a real estate agent?
Ours comes out typically at the point of unconditional exchange. Once property is under contract and any conditions like building, pest and finance have now gone past, whether they were in there or not.
So it's exchanged and there's no pulling out?
Correct, yeah. Our fee is effectively payable either the day of exchange or is invoiced the day of exchange or 10 days later, depending on, 14 days later, depending on if you've had any cooling off periods included.
Yeah. Okay. So what's some key points of difference? Because buyers agents are still relatively new to me.
Yep.
What are some differences?
Look, it's a great industry. I hope you can hear in passion of what I do. Like I love what I do. It's a great industry to be part of, and something that's still new and growing and developing. There's not really like a Ray White or like a McGrath of buyers. And there's a couple of names but only really if you're in the industry. It's not as synonymous as saying buyer's agent, you automatically think of these brands. Now, part of that is also just the state of play. Most buyer's agents are sort of teams of 2 or 3, maybe up to 20. So the size and scale of them, there's still nothing there. Maybe in 10 years, 20 years' time, I would fully expect that to change and there to be some much larger players, but at the moment it's not. Now, within those, my point of difference for me is I only buy property here in Sydney, right? So I buy property that I can physically see, inspect, assess. I can meet agents face to face, and I believe I can leverage my experience and that personal connection to get the best value of my clients. But a lot of buyers agents will be based anywhere and buy anywhere. Yeah. And they can do it all from desktop. They might ask the real estate agents to do, if they're in Sydney, buying in Perth, might get the real estate agent to do a video assessment. Now, myself, the part I question with that is they might be buying in Perth for a 3-month period, And then the next hot ticket is Townsville, the next hot ticket is Orange, the next hot ticket is Sunshine in Melbourne. So the ability to build agent engagement and really be able to leverage that, I think, is diminished.
Yeah. Okay. Any other points of difference?
Lots. There is lots. There's the due diligence. You've got access to data points. We've got access to those points. There's the comparable assessments. In particular for me, I think come back to myself, is really not rushing clients. I've had clients who we've purchased within a week of signing up. I don't have that expectation, but that has happened. And I've had other clients take up to 6 to 8 to 9 months to buy. For me, it's about finding that right property. It's about assessing things all the way through. Something I do say to every client is, we don't know when the right property is going to come up. So that's okay. We'll send you through opportunities and properties and inspections. Don't worry if you're not loving them. Just let us know if you're not loving them. But when you do love a property, you don't need to move fast to make an offer, but you need to move fast to make a strategic assessment.
Mentally.
Yeah, what you're going to do. What is the negotiation pathway? Is it auction? Is it post-auction? Is it off-market? Is it pre-market? Is the vendor selling, divorce? What are all these factors? And good thing with a buyer's agent and a real estate agent, you as a buyer, you talk to a real estate agent, they're going to give you some facts and fiction, not fiction, but facts of what's going on. But trust me, the level of respect in a real estate agent and buyer's agent is tenfold. I've had scenarios where clients have gone through a property with a real estate agent and the agent said to them, this will sell, absolutely this will sell between 1.1 to 1.2. I walked through that same property, 20 minutes later, the agent didn't know that I was with that same client, and the agent said to me, this will sell for 1.5. That's a massive difference. And it ended up selling for 1.7, which is where I knew it would sell for, because there was 2 properties down sold for that price 3 months earlier.
What was the guide at 1.2?
At 1.2, and the good news was my client got called back 5 days later after the Wednesday inspection and said, we've just had more groups through and the guide price is now 1.1. They actually decreased the guide price on interest. True story, yeah. Trust me, Kurt, you work in a way which I love, but unfortunately not everyone's like, most are, but there are some eggs out there who have got some different, mechanisms.
In anything, there is always a bottom 10%.
Correct.
Unfortunately, in our industry, 10% is still a lot of people.
Correct. Yeah. So those are some points that we can go into more, but those are some things today.
And okay, I was just going to say, tips your relationship with real estate agents.
It's imperative for my business, right? It's imperative for my negotiation ability. So like I said, I've got agents now that I've purchased 3 or 4 properties off with them and from. I'm able to lean on that a little bit to go, I've come back again, we're looking at this property, what can we get done here? And get the elbows in. Now, sometimes I don't think the agent really sells to us for less, but more the agent might look at us and go, okay, can we sell that property with Chris? We know that he's going to be efficient. We know that he's going to have contracts, the deposit ready to go. That's a great thing to take to their vendor to say, we know Chris. We know what he's like. This is his behaviour before. If he agrees to a number today, we'll have contracts exchanged by today. Versus a buyer going on your own, you walk in with the exact same number and they look you up and down and go, we might see you in a year. You might have been around for 2 years. We don't know if you're actually serious. We don't know if you've got other offers on the go. There's no reputation there for you because once you buy that property, you're no longer looking. Yeah. Right? So up until that time, there's not disrespect, but there's definitely a greater respect for a buyer's agent.
I'd have to agree in terms of that as a relationship that I've built up with a buyer's agent is that if I know they're trustworthy, is that you can go to your vendors and be like, look, these guys will be prepared. I know they're not going to back out. They're using a buyer's agent that we have constant communication with. We're not underselling your property.
No,
However, if there's two options, being like, these guys can act within 2 hours because I know this buyer's agent's going to smash it.
Yeah. And I've had a scenario, apartment in Summer Hill, we were buying for an investor. It was listed on a Friday, so it went on market on a Friday. We went and inspected on the Saturday. There was 52 other buyers there. We exchanged that property on the Tuesday. Right? The reason I did that, one was a relationship with the real estate agent. 2, we gave a really good price. We knew where the price was going to get to. 52 buyers going through. We knew that it was going to go. The guide price was 800. We paid 818. Not ridiculous more. But we just didn't waste time. We went, this is our offer. We are serious. The agent knew us from previous purchase. He was anticipating getting offers of 780, 790, and having to build it up over a week. He looked at it and went, that's just a great offer for where we're going to, basically where we're going to end up, maybe 10K more, 10K less. So who knows where it gets to, right? There's always this fear. But in the end, we secured it. We had renters move in 30 days later, clients happy as Larry.
Brilliant.
Any other questions or hard-hitting questions for me today?
No, I think it's something we're going to expand on later, like later episodes, because there's always trends that are changing, different things that are coming up. There's always a million topics within how to select an agent, all those topics, how to select whether it's buying or selling for the agent. So I think something we'll definitely cover later.
Beautiful. Okay, one quick question.
Is your hair naturally grey or is you getting old?
It's smoky silver, thank you. No, my hair's not naturally grey. It's well, naturally grey in terms of getting old, my friend. Thanks, Kurt. Love that. What about your hair? Now, one for you. If you had to choose one, snorkeling or surfing, which one are you choosing? Snorkeling. You're a man after my own heart.
Yeah. Surfing,
You're good.
I've done it. Tried it once. Tried to get up 50 times and was up maybe once or twice.
Not a good start. Well, as we always say, our advice here is general in nature, so please speak to the professionals out there if you are making a big decision such as buying or selling a property. But otherwise, thank you for dropping by.
Yeah, this is the Sydney Property Muppets podcast. Have a fantastic weekend.
Beautiful.